Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Sword Art Online Alicization, but today I'm going to be checking out the next set of 4 episodes, episodes 8 through 11. But last time, we found out exactly what happened to Kirito, where you see, after he got attacked by one of the death gun dudes and got that stuff injected into his heart, he briefly went into cardiac arrest, causing potential brain damage. Pretty intense stuff. Fortunately, they were able to rush him off to get the best medical treatment possible, and the way that they're handling his potential brain damage is that they've hooked him up into this game, into the VR world that we've been seeing, so that they can hopefully try to recreate the neuron pathways in his brain. I mean, I guess it makes sense. And at this point, they've even said that it might be a bit of a long shot. It is experimental technology, but it's their only option. All because Kirito decided to stab for the leg instead of going for the chest or the face or something. But other than that, we also found out what this VR world's purpose is. The whole idea was that they created it to try to create AI, artificial intelligence, advanced artificial intelligence, not through the usual methods of top-down AI, where they would, just feed it information and try to teach it that way. Instead, they're using a bottom-up method where they're starting from nothing and just having it grow to learn like a human. That's a very watered-down variation of it and not even fully accurate, but the idea with their execution is that they've used flucklights, or whatever they called them, something stupid. Souls, okay? They've used souls. They've made artificial human souls, put them into this world, and they're having them just grow up thinking they're real people, essentially creating a artificial human. And these artificial souls are literally copies of human souls, specifically copies of baby souls that they have taken and put into a medieval fantasy world so that they can use them as soldiers to kill people. Yeah, that's the idea. Makes you wonder why they even had to use babies in the first place, because they were able to age down Kirito when they put him into this world. So when copying somebody else, couldn't they just do the same for them? Heck, Kirito didn't even have any of his memories. So when they made the flucklights of them, why wouldn't they just delete their memories and then have them relearn from scratch? They didn't have to go taking baby souls. Ah well, I don't want to ramble on about that for too long. I'm going to talk about something else now, such as that, honestly, I gotta say, I've been being a little bit harsh on some of the execution of the magic system in this, when, honestly, really, the idea of using code execution as a magic system, that's pretty cool, okay? In concept, that's a great idea. I think maybe it could be executed a little better, but we've really only just begun, so I'll give them a bit more time and see what they do with it, but I'll hand it to them there. The idea of using code as magic, that's great, and it works well within the setting, so I'll give him a pass. In terms of smaller character things, Kirito and Yujiro managed to cut down that big tree finally using the blue rose sword, and now they've risen up, they went to the Knight Academy, and now they're gonna make their way to trying to rescue Alice from the frickin' tower. So that's good. But for now, Kirito's got himself in a bit of hot water. He's gonna be kind of in a fight to the death with this one dude here, so we'll see how that goes. Also, they said there's like a strength system based on how confident in your strength you are, rather than just how strong you really are, which that sounds really weird, but maybe they'll flesh that out a bit more, make more sense of it. Just that initial description doesn't quite add up to me, but whatever. Let's just get right into episode 8. Yabba Dabba. These 4 episodes, well, yeah, they set the stage for those two pretty good. Like, I like how they just started out as just the typical pompous bully types. And, they built that up, and then they just suddenly shifted immediately into predator territory. And then they just rode that train all the way out of the tunnel, man. So fast. It gave me whiplash, dude. I mean, I knew they sucked. I knew they were bad. They're bad dudes. But yeah, it just really just happened all at once, And they were particularly punchable, because they had a lot of different layers to their punchability, you know, with their arrogance, their cockiness, that sense of conceit that Kirito mentioned. And then, you know, they just had that, because of their nobility, because of their position, they felt like they could do whatever the heck they wanted. And realistically, the law apparently allowed them to do whatever the heck they wanted, as long as they felt justified in doing so as a punishment, which is a massive, glaring oversight in the taboo index, if you ask me. It opens the door to some terrible stuff happening like that. It's you can't do that. If you give the people in power that ability, it's gonna happen. There's no way this is even the first time. 300 years in, it's happened a couple more times at least by now. What added to the level of just dread and terror to that scene was the fact that the two of them, they were just begging for Yujiro to save them, because of course they were. When with Asuna, she kept her cool. She maintained, because, you know, she had more faith in Kirito than that, and the fact that she's a very hardened individual as a whole, she wasn't gonna break quite as easily. But with those two, they were a lot more vulnerable, and and Yuji was right there. He could easily save them if it wasn't for the fact that he was being prevented from doing so by his weird magic eye thing. But just the sheer will that he had, and it's not like he BS'd his way through it by the established rules of, you know, that it gave him a power he needed. He just straight up, through forcing himself to keep moving so hard that it just overpowered it and his eye exploded. Gosh, this entire discussion can't just be me talking about that one part of that episode, can it? But I mean, it's the main highlight of these four, just because of how emotionally scarring that was. That was just despicable. No one wants to sit back and watch two girls getting frickin' violated like that. I can't even bear to watch, even for the sake of commentary. I just can't look at it. It's just not, it's not possible. But hey, other than that, they found Alice. That's great. And either her memories are just on lockdown, or this is some kind of duplicate, but I feel like that's probably not the case. The other guy was called Synthesis as well, although he said he was summoned, but I guess, I mean, I'm not going to read too deep into that. It probably just means he was summoned to be an Integrity Knight, probably, right? Not sure what to make of it, but just based on what she said, I still want to believe that she's at the top of the tower. But if she is, I mean, the one they've been dealing with isn't the real her? Or maybe at the top of the tower is where they need to go to free her memories or something. So in terms of highlights of these four episodes, they fleshed out their, you know, the power system, in that it's not just, I feel like I'm the strongest so I am, it's that their creativity, their imagination, what drives them forward, controls how strong they can become and gives them specific boosts when they can draw upon it, which feels better than what I thought it was, genuinely. And then we had these two guys just gradually get worse and worse and worse until they jumped on the frickin' train, the frickin' bullet train, man, and just rushed into complete depravity so fast. They're horrible people, horrible, horrible, don't like them at all, and you're not supposed to. I mean, that was the most flagrant and cheap setup for hate-worthy characters ever, but still, seeing Yujiro fight his hardest and force his way through it and just chop the dude's arm off, that got me hyped, man. It's just, they did too good of a job executing it, even if it might have been considered a little cheap. And somehow they managed to make the other guy's death both satisfying and cathartic while also being incredibly dread-inducing. Because seeing that guy just groveling, spazzing out with his demise as he just flails his arms about, or what was left of his arms, was a deserved fate for someone as horrendous as he. But as he started to glitch out and you know, that kind of glitchy stuff, it gets to me. That kind of stuff was really spooky at a younger age, and they drove the point home there. Apparently that's just what happens when their souls die. under such strenuous circumstance. I mean, we do know that if under great stress to their minds, when they reach something that they can't deal with, they apparently just crash themselves. It's what happened when they made a direct copy of the souls, and they found out that they were a copy. They just spazzed out and imploded in on themselves, and that may be somewhat connected to what happened to him here. And beyond that, which I've already covered for the past 12 minutes, they found Alice, but her memories are locked away. She doesn't remember them. They're gonna have to get to the top of the tower and get her back, but they gotta get through this one guy first, and they're gonna have to fight him with nothing but chains, which still work as weapons even though they shattered their durability. Not sure how that works. It probably shouldn't work by most game logic-wise, but I guess maybe each individual chain has its own durability, and they just broke the durability of the chains that were holding them to the thing. I guess you could look at it that way. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. I hope you enjoyed my existential terror as I watched a horrific scene of violence go down before my very eyes. But next time, the Sage of the Library is the next one. That sounds like an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Should be interesting. That'll be episode 12, and then 13, 14, 15, maybe 16 too. If I can get caught up with the rest of my commissions for this month, and I can finally, go back in the regular schedule, please tell me I can do that. Then maybe I'll do the 5-episode one next month for you guys. So stay tuned. But I think that's all I gotta say for now, guys. I've been recording for nearly 2 hours now, so that's it. Thank you once again. But till we meet again, I will see you guys later. Alicization, but today going to be checking out the nest. We're going to be checking out the nest. I don't know if there's a nest in here, but we're going to find out.